Hi, my name is Josh Ryan. I'm a photographer. The name of my business is The Image Engine, and we're here in my studio, which is located downtown Portland. And I usually refer to the studio itself as the box because it's just a big kind of empty box that I've turned into a space specifically for shooting cars and motorbikes. I've done a few things over the years, but I've got a background in motorbike racing. When I retired from racing and the associated things that went with it in 2009, I started doing a bit of photography, and I come by it naturally, I guess. My mom's a great photographer, actually. She's a portrait photographer. And then as far as the mechanical, love of cars and bikes and airplanes and that sort of thing, my dad was, he's retired now, an aircraft mechanic. So I think a car, motorbike is a perfect embodiment of both art, and it's something I'm passionate about, it's something I'm knowledgeable about, and it just all dovetailed nicely into a career in life. Talk a little bit about the camera that I'm using today, and my favorite camera actually. This is Hasselblad 907x 50c 2 or something, I think they call it. I think that's right. Anyway, it is medium format, which huge sensor, and I don't care what anybody says when it comes to the quality of your work. If obviously if you're shooting action or something like that, it's a little different. But if you're in the studio or even outdoor stuff with non-moving, medium format, I'm telling you, is where it's at. I like the way it looks, I like the way it works. The imagery that comes out of it is absolutely phenomenal. And those of you who know will say, hey, it's the same basic, 50 megapixel sensor that's in some other stuff. That may be, but I'll tell you, between the focus software and everything else, the images that come out of this need very, very little post-production work. And since I'm doing a lot of production, I shoot an average of probably 25 to 30 cars a month. Sometimes more, sometimes on a really busy day, if I'm doing like motorbikes, it'll be 8. That post-production has to go quickly, and the more true the color is and the better the image is right out of the box, the more time I have to actually do what I like, which is to shoot. So anyway, one interesting thing about this back, so the actual body of this camera is literally this part right here. This is the body, so you got your lens, your body, and this back actually comes off. It's a digital back. You can mount this to any of the vintage Hasselblad 503s from I'm not sure exactly because I don't shoot that stuff, but like the 60s until they stopped making them. So it's really cool. If you're a film camera guy, you can actually shoot digital. They've got the battery, you've got dual card slots. The menu itself is awesomely intuitive and super, super easy to use. So one of the things that I really, really like about this camera is a color rendition. And I use Hasselblad software, which is the focus as far as the raw processor or converter, or whatever you want to call it. And the color rendition is absolutely fantastic. Particularly in the past, I've struggled with reds. And I'll tell you, car guys, especially when you're shooting a car that's for sale and maybe it's been repainted or something like that, they will argue all day long that, that it's not guards red, it's ruby red, or vice versa. And I will tell you that since I've been shooting the Hasselblad stuff, I've spent very, very little time having to adjust the colors. It's really set up as a waist level camera, which I use as that, but I also have a lot of overhead shots, and this screen does not tilt down. So with this setup, all we have to do is flip it upside down, and we've got our overhead stuff. And for me, I spend 12 hours a day, 6 days a week doing what I do. And what feels good in my hand and what looks good to me, it actually has an effect on my work. It's just that kind of thing that you look at and you want to touch, and it's classic and well made and heavy in a good way, and simple.